Obviously, they'll be coming off well. I mean, they play Wednesday, so I was going to say coming off the back of a strong win. But obviously, for them to go and beat St. Louis 4-0 was a big result. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a very tough game for us. Intimidating atmosphere, but again, a game that we all look forward to. Great rivalry. Our supporters will be up there again, and hopefully in lots of numbers. So it's a game we look forward to. I suppose. I mean, I suppose when you've got a squad of 40 players, you can you can play nearly 4 teams. So who knows? I mean, until I get their team on Saturday, I don't know. I don't know what changes they'll make. I think obviously for them to play Wednesday and us to have no game, you would think that there would be a little bit of tiredness and fatigue there. But there's so many players. Who knows what team they'll play? So we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I mean, I think we scored early. I mean, I think the start of the game was a little strange, really, against Tampa. I think when you look at sort of how that went, but the earlier you can score, the better for any team. So it was very pleasing for that to happen. You know, it's pretty much a case of focusing on the things that we speak about in training, and then trying to make sure that people understand where the space is. A lot of our philosophy is trying to play where the space is, and understanding where to look for that space. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously very important. I think when you have an atmosphere like they have, I think it's important to try quieten that down. And I think obviously if you can score, that will help. That it works both ways. I thought that their players built off the crowd on Saturday. I think when you look at that, I think their crowd had a big influence on the result, because I think they seem to energise their players, and they seem to go on and become even stronger. So again, it's managing that, but the biggest thing for us always at this stage of the season is making sure that our training is on point, and we're focusing on the things that we can control, because we can't really control what happens in Cincinnati. We can, how we train and how we sort of prepare for games is what we need to focus on. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm still, we've had a chat this morning. He's in less pain now than he was, so we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But we're hopeful that won't be anything too serious.
What was it actually?
It was high up in his, we'll call it his glute. I think, in essence, I think he's got some kind of pain he's had previous. He said it happened to him last year. It's sort of. It can happen every now and again. He gets this sort of sharp pain, but I think he was fine last year from it. So we're hopeful it'll be something like that it's not too serious. But we'll see tomorrow. We'll have a better idea when he actually tries to get out there and do some movement and do some running. We'll see how it is then, and see what type of pain he's getting, and if it is really unbearable pain or if it's manageable, and then what risk does that entail. So again, at this stage, I'm very relaxed about it. If it was Friday, then I think you're looking at things a lot differently. So we'll just have to see how the week plays out. Hopefully not too much longer. I think we've had to manage that. Again, I think the issue with that was just making sure that we were all in agreement with the doctors, and that all the doctors were on point with what they were saying. So we're very hopeful that it'll be a few weeks and won't be any longer than that. He's able to do an awful lot more now. I think it's probably just a case of trying to hold Greg back a little bit to allow the treatment to take time to work. I think the temptation for Greg now is to just keep pushing and to try to go back to where he was, where he needs to allow a little bit of time for the medicine to kick in and to take shape. Look, it'll be lovely to see Quinny and Kadeem. They're two lads I really like. I wish them both all the very best, as I've said to them, but just not when they're playing us. And it'll be the same for them. They'll wish us all the best, just not when we play each other. So, I'm sure for Luke it'll be nice to go back. I'm sure he'll want to go and give a good account of himself, as I'm sure the two lads will against us. So it happens. I mean, we had it the week before at Richmond, where we had it the other way. We had Brian and George going back, and obviously Conor was playing against us. So I think as we start to develop as a club, things like this will happen more and more. He's been phenomenal. I think George did a great job for us on Saturday. People will look at his goal. I think when you look at his work ethic, you look at his contribution to the game. Apart from his goal, I mean, the goal alone is a major contribution. But when you look at his overall contribution, I think it was fantastic. I think his intensity to his work was great. So we've been really, really pleased with George. He's a great role model for everybody in the changing room. He trains really well and does all the things that we ask of him. So really pleased for him to see him playing so well. We're really, really happy with George. Well, it was obviously very nice to win. I think that was it's always pleasing to do that. But I mean, now a case it's as I said Saturday night. As soon as that finishes, now focus is next game, which is Cincinnati. So it's pleasing we won the game, and now that gets put to bed, and now you focus on the next one. And it's important you get a good week's training, and that you don't all of a sudden spending the week patting yourself on the back. You need to get your head down. You need to get back in and do the things correctly, which we'll do. Honestly, the first thing I looked at on the schedule was the first game of the season, and that's as far as I went with the schedule. And then I looked at the next game. Literally, my focus is the next game, and that's not trying to be smart. That's just how I look at things. I don't look at things 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the line. I'll look at that and I'll go, right, that's the next game. So what do we need to do to be prepared for that next game? I mean, Monday for us is going through the analysis of the game we've played, making sure the players get good recovery, and then we start to drop in some of the things that we need to be working on this week in training, and then my focus is completely on that. I'll pretty much start Saturday night once that game's finished.